We all know as citizens, we want to try and do our part preventing crime. Somebody has taken a bike, if somebody's broken into a shed, even all these little frauds that have been going around. And, there's so much information that we do and may or may not know. And you know what? There's one place we need to go to. It's our Chatham-Kent Police Services. And I'm happy to have Renee Cowell here, our Public Information Officer for the Chatham-Kent Police Services. Renee, thanks for being here today.
Hey, Eric, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So I got to ask you, how have you been doing during these interesting times in our community, province, and the whole world for that matter?
Yeah, it's certainly been an interesting and challenging year, both personally and professionally. We've all had to connect with our family and friends from a socially responsible distance and virtually at times. I know my kids have had fun teaching their grandparents how to use FaceTime on their iPads.
It's certainly a technological world we're living in. I think we've all jumped guns on different social media outputs out there.
Well, and exactly today, right? I would much rather be in studio doing this interview with you today, but here we are virtually doing them safely from our offices.
We're seeing a number of scammers, emails, transfers, phone calls, all sorts of things. We all know the reason is for money, but what are some of these other things these internet pirates are doing it for?
Yeah, scammers are definitely looking for personal and financial information, anything that could ultimately help them steal your identity and money.
The 60 to 70 to 80-year-old grandmothers who, thinks it's Johnny on the phone. I know my grandmother actually had one, and I was there at the same time she was. And I said, give me your phone through the window. And I'm like, don't call. And they just hung right up. So there are tons and tons and tons of scams out there. What are the top three that we're seeing rotating right now?
Yeah, the CRA scam is by far the one we hear about the most. Typically what happens is someone claims to be an employee of the CRA and accuses you of owing money. They threaten to have you arrested if you don't comply with their requests immediately. A similar scam is with Service Canada in that they claim that your SIN number has been compromised. And I know they've called my work phone, and when I answer Chatham-Kent Police, they immediately hang up. So I know it's a scammer that's calling me. Another popular scam, as you mentioned, is the emergency scam, also known as the grandparent scam. Scammers claim to be a family member in need of money because they've been either arrested or in a car accident. Grandparents are usually the target for these scams as they prey on their emotions and fear. And unfortunately, grandparents usually panic and send money before verifying the story with a family member.
Okay. So we get a scam, we get a fraud. What are a few things we should not do? We all know that we can mess around with them for a bit, but is there any small pieces of information that, might trigger something? Oh, we can get their information through this way means.
Yeah, the key to protecting yourself from a fraud or scam is really to recognize it. If you receive a suspicious text or email, do not click any links, as you may inadvertently be providing the scammer with access to your computer or cell phone. If you receive a suspicious call, do not provide any personal or financial information over the phone. If you didn't initiate the call, then you really don't know who you're talking to. And remember that scammers use intimidation tactics and want to pressure you into providing information and making decisions very quickly. So don't be afraid to say no and hang up. Take the time to do your research before taking any action.
Okay, those are some great tips. I know every day we see there's a certain couple of people around town that like to mess with them and do some stuff on there. Even I thought that's like, should we be posting that kind of stuff? Can they get information through the internet? But it's interesting to always see some new ones. I know I've kind of set my battlefields straightened out. They don't call me anymore. So I'm thinking they're getting the point there. So that's great. And I know we're talking frauds, but there's another thing that we had talked before we started recording is just crime in most cities. Here in Chatham-Kent, lots of things going on, whether it's somebody's breaking into a shed, somebody's stealing a bike, somebody's breaking into a car. You see it all over social media that people are saying, what can we do as citizens to really prevent these? What are some of the tips that you as officers can give us?
Yeah, overall, Chatham-Kent is a very safe community. Our Achilles heel is really property crimes. So if we can take a minute to examine the crime triangle, you'll see that for a crime to happen, the criminal must have the desire, ability, and opportunity. And criminals typically look for easy opportunities. So what can we do to remove these opportunities? We can start by adopting the 9 p.m. routine, as it may help prevent crimes of opportunities in your neighborhood. So every night at 9 p.m., go around your house, lock all your windows and doors. If you park outside, remove all valuables from your vehicle. This includes your garage door opener, and turn on any outside lights. The key here is to ensure that your house is secure before going to bed.
What's something we shouldn't do if we encounter a theft in progress?
Yeah, you never want to make contact or engage. You don't know if these people are harmed or what their intentions really are. So what we encourage you to do at that point is go back to a place of safety and call 911. Get as many physical descriptors as you can and provide that information to a dispatcher over the phone.
Those are some great pieces of information. And, it is just some common sense. That one, I think some people say, oh, I just want to take a baseball bat and take them out, but that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's exactly what you don't want to do, right? So go to a place of safety, call 911 as soon as you can, get police officers on their way, and again, provide the dispatcher with as much physical descriptors as you can.
That's great. You know what? So we've talked with the ambulatory care, we've talked with fire safety during we're about a year into the pandemic, but we haven't really got to touch base on, how's the police service been doing through this entire year? Let's talk about some, great good news stories that's come out of the Chatham-Kent Police Services.
Yeah, there's a lot of good news stories that have come out of this pandemic, but I would really like to take this opportunity to thank the community for supporting all our first responders and healthcare workers this past year. I know schools and community members have painted rocks. They've sent us thank you cards and posted inspirational messages and photos on social media. I can tell you that your gestures of love and support have not gone unnoticed, and it's been very much appreciated.
That's great. And we thank everything you guys and gals have been doing, especially keeping our roads safe. Ride checks, as we're recording today, St. Patrick's Day, ride checks have been out several times. And, you're just keeping our streets safe. So we have so much to thank what you and your team are doing out there. Renee, is there anything else that you would like to add as we wrap up?
I just want everybody to remember that, Chatham-Kent, we are stronger together. And I truly believe that brighter days are coming.
That's great. No, I'll reiterate, thanks again for all you're doing, and continue what you are doing as we trudge through these times. And I hope when things get a little bit normal, we can have a big old Chatham-Kent block party to celebrate all the hardships we've endured.
That sounds great, Eric. Thanks for having me today.